Okay, here we go. What I want to do today, and this is going to be the first demo that I'm going to be doing, I want to explain what we as artists and what I teach. And there's three things. It's lights and darks, it's brights and dulls, which is called intensity, or the temperature of a color, and also texture, which is one of the most important things we can do. And those three things, when you get the negative area and the proper relationship to the positive shapes or the objects themselves, when you get all of that in the proper relationship with each other, then you created this feeling of air and space and going back into the distance. The light areas on an object where your lights, because we have a directional light and it comes in, and it's going to be one side of your object is going to be lighter than the other side. And we also have the light knocked off of our negative area or the background in order to create this feeling of lights and darks, which is called chiaroscuro, which is the play of light against dark. It's where the old masters during the Baroque period they employed this type of painting, this philosophy. And so what we do, if you'll notice right here, how this back side here is this is back actually it's part of the table and part of the backdrop back there. It's dark, and so because it's dark, it's going to be thin. All our darks are going to be thin and transparent, and then the light areas is going to be light, and it's going to be in contrast to this dark side, and it's going to be thick or impastoed. That's the type of texture that we're going to do. The dark side of this cantaloupe is thin and transparent, so that when you, and the same thing with the grapes, one side's light, one side's dark, one side's light, one side's dark. That's how you create that feeling of volume or weight, and that's called trompe l'oeil when you use the impasto, or the thickness of this light next to the background, which is dark because it does not have light, but it's also thin and transparent. So you have a difference between your values, which is light and dark. You also have a difference between your intensity or your temperature of the color, where the light side is going to be warmer than the dark side. And that's how you create this form. But also this texture is so important, and this is one of the hardest things for me to get my students to do. Texture is no more than, or rather the light side, which is impasto, is no more than a brush stroke that you leave. You mix your paint up, and you got your light, you got enough so that you shovel it on the end of your brush, and you let the canvas take it off of your brush, and you leave that brush stroke. And what people go wrong is that they put it down there, and then they want to move it out, move it around, and they take the texture out. So you basically got to let that canvas or the board or whatever you're painting on take it off of your brush. Don't force it on there, so that you have lights and darks, dark, light. This is warm, this is cooler, this is lighter, warmer. Okay, so when you get all of this in the proper relationship, then you've created this feeling of air and space and going back into the distance. Also, what this difference in texture does is this called Trompe l'oeil, and I think I'm saying that correct, is means fool the eyes, what the old masters did, and it gives a feeling of weight and volume on these objects when you have the difference and you have all of this texture on there. You are basically creating an illusion. This is a two-dimensional surface, and you're creating an illusion that this has air and space and going back in the distance, but also it gives an illusion that these objects that are light and very textural and pasto, that it can be picked up like it has weight and volume to it. And so this is what I'm going to be doing during this virus deal that we have going on right now. I'm going to be, and I'll explain this some more when we get the get this over with, and as I demo a real setup, then I will explain this all over again as I'm doing it. And so this is going to be the end of this demo, and we're going to look at it and see, and I don't know about editing it, probably not. I'm probably just going to give it like this, and basically sometimes I get kind of thoughts just don't come to me like they used to when I was a lot younger. So don't worry about that, okay? This is just going to be with my family, this family right here, which is the family that I call it my family, but it's all my students, and I've got about 55 or 58 students at this point right now. So I'm fixing to sign off, and we'll see.